Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the sublime, the victorious, and the totally self-enlightened one. Hey, welcome everyone. Today we will continue with some other categories of the unwholesome division. So last week we have talked about the attachment to sense desire, attachment to continued existence, wrong view, and ignorance. These four, they have different names. No, they are grouped together, and sometimes they are called asawas, cankers. Sometimes they are called ogas, flood. Sometimes they are called yoga, bond or yoke, right? So these four are, although they are of the same four types, but sometimes they are called in different names because for different people, then they can understand the danger of it in different way. So therefore, in the suttas, we can find that these four are described with different words. Then last week, we have also seen that there is another category, another term, which is called the ganta, knot. That's the knot of covetousness, the knot of ill will, the knot of the wrong understanding of practice, or thinking some kind of wrong practice or some kind of specific practice will lead to the attainment of purification of the mind or attainment of Nibbana. Then we have the knot of holding a wrong view to be the only truth. So these four are called knots. So last week we have seen these four different categories and their ultimate realities. And today we're going to another one, which is called the Upadana. And this word, we are all quite familiar with this word. We have all seen it. It's in English, usually it's translated as clinging or grasping. Right. So let's take a look at the Pali word itself. It's very interesting. Upadana. And this word is actually made up of upa, the prefix upa, which means firmly, and adana. Adana means taking. So that means taking something very firmly, very firmly, on holding on to something very strongly. In ultimate reality, upadana is actually just lobha. But when lobha reaches the stage of upadana, it is so strong that one cannot give up anymore. So this holding and this attachment is so strong that it is called the firmly taking of the object. So that's why it's called upadana. So the comparison that is being given in the text is actually a little bit shocking. The image, it's the Upadana is compared to a snake swallowing a mouse or something like that. So once a snake get hold of the mouse, then it will never let go. It will not let go. It will hold on to it very, very strongly. So in the same way, when lobha is so strong and it reaches the stage of upadana, it cannot give up. So it will very, very strongly take hold onto the object. And that kind of strong lobha is called upadana. So clinging or grasping. Now, these upadana are also of different types. So let's take a look of what kind of things can the mind hold very strongly to. Now, the first one is called kamupadana, so clinging to sense desire. Again, this category again. So kama, sense desire. So for us non-enlightened beings, this kama, this sense desire is very strong. We cling onto objects that we see, sound, smell, taste, and touch, and all kinds of this sense desire. So here, when we say clinging to sense desire or kamupadana, it can be explained in two ways. It can be explained as like kama, sense desire, which is upadana. It is a clinging, or it can be taken as kama, the sense desire itself is clinging. So whichever way, it is possible to explain it in these two ways. So clinging to sense desire or sense desire itself is a clinging. Now we have seen that this sense desire, clinging to sense desire or lobha to sense desire, it happens or it appears in many groups, right? This lobha, it appears in the asavas, as well as the oga, as well as the yoga, the bond, and the ganta, not as well. And here upadana, grasping also. So we can see that like how dangerous this is. No, lobha, it's a little bit more tricky, let's say, because we like it. No, when we have attachment, when we have clinging, we actually feel good about it. We feel good about the things we eat. We feel good about good smell, taste, and touch, and etc. We actually like it, and we attach to it. So we don't see the danger so much as dosa. No, when there is dosa, we all feel like when we are afraid or when we have the depression or when we are angry, then all this it kind of hurt oneself. So we don't like it. So in that case, it is a little bit less tricky than the lobha or this attachment to sense desire. Well, anyway, so that's the first clinging, upadana, kamupadana. So clinging to sense desire or sense desire itself is the clinging. Now let's see what's the second one. The next one is ditupadana, again, wrong view, which is clinging. No? So when we have a wrong view, we take it very firmly. So here we can understand again in the same way, wrong view, which is a clinging, or clinging itself is wrong view. Wrong view itself is a clinging. When there is wrong view, what do we mean by wrong view here? Wrong view meaning like not understanding that our own verbal actions, physical action, and mental action actually plant seeds that's causes. No, there are karma. So when there's karma, then there is vipaka, there is result. So not understanding cause and effect, or thinking that everything is just by chance and there is no causes, or there is causes but will be no effect. Whatever happened is just this life and that's it, and there will be nothing more. Whatever I do, it doesn't matter, or all kinds of this kind of wrong idea. Sometimes when we have this wrong idea, we think that is right and we cling to and we attach to, grasp to this kind of ideas. So here, ditupadana, we can understand in two ways, as I just said. So wrong view, which is a clinging, or clinging to wrong view. So actually, they are kind of similar. So it's subtly a little bit different, but we can understand both. Both are included here as ditupadana. So clinging to wrong view, or wrong view itself is an attachment, a clinging. Now, grasping. Let's see. Do we hold on to things or do we hold on to idea? Which one do you think is stronger? Ideas. Right? Yeah. So actually, we hold on to both, right? Right. When we have things also, we also hold on to our things. But I think we hold on to ideas so much stronger than we hold on to things. Just a very simple example or as a reflection. Have you ever seen this, the argument between this toilet paper, which way should it go? So even with this so simple things, we can fight with each other. No, it should be this way. Oh, no, it should be that way. No, this way, this way or that way. No. So once we think this is the right way, then we cannot, we kind of grabs it and take hold to it, and then we cannot accept anything else. So there was an incident at home, actually, in my mother's house. So our toilet paper, usually it is like this way. We put it this way. But then sometime we find that every time a friend of my mother visit the house, and after that, the toilet paper will become like this. So in the beginning, we thought like it's so strange, like why the toilet paper became like this, no? But then later on, then after a few times, we observed every time that auntie came to the house, then the toilet paper become like this. So imagine, like sometimes our idea can be so strong that you visit someone's house and then you change even it's not your own home. Like if it is your house, then it's okay. You put it the way you like it, no? But if you go visit someone's house and then your idea is so strong that you even change people's paper, then we thought that we didn't get annoyed, but we thought that it's quite funny, no? It's like how strong do we attach to our own ideas, no? That with all, even with this so small things such as a toilet paper, we hold on to it so strongly. Imagine about the self, about me, about I, about existence, right? So how strong do we hold on to these ideas? Well, so now we can imagine about like this Upadana. Why is it called grasping or holding on to, taking it very firmly, right? So any kind of wrong view, concerning, especially concerning the Dhamma, concerning the self, we're not understanding things as they really are, right? So again, attachment, lobha, right? Okay, so let's see what's the next one. The third one is called Silabatu Padana. So Silabata and Upadana, Silabatu Padana, clinging to wrong practice. So we have talked about this wrong practice last time. Sometimes when we think that like practicing in this way, or when if I do chanting, a lot of chanting, then that will lead me to the purification of the mind. If I hold on to this idea and think this is right and this is the way, and then that would be clinging or attachment or grasping to a wrong practice. Not that chanting is not good, but chanting alone is not able to lead one to full purification of the mind, right? So therefore, of course, in the very beginning, this came up with the practice of the dog practice or the cow practice. Well, those are even stronger in the time of the Buddha. So holding on to or clinging to this wrong practice is the third type of clinging or grasping. Okay. Then we have the last one. This is called Attawadu Padana. Now we have to look at this Pali word and we have to separate it first. Now, Attawadu Padana. Atta means soul or a self. Something that we take that to be a permanent, something permanent or something that has a real substance. So this is what is called Atta in Pali. And Wada means a saying or opinion. Then Upadana, we know, is the firmly taking or firmly holding on to, the clinging or the grasping. So Atta, Wada, Upadana, these three words together, Atta Wadu Padana means the clinging to the opinion or the idea of a self, of having an Atta or soul or self. So this clinging to the opinion of Atta, how does it actually happen? What is it? No. So when we study this Abhidhamma, we understand that there is actually no I, no Atta, no soul, no self. What we call myself or I is actually just nama and rupa, right? Chitta and cetasika and rupa. So it has its own process, but we take this chitta and cetasika and the rupa as me, as I, right? So this is the idea of an atta, yeah? So this opinion of atta, sometimes it's also called sakaya ditti. Now, sakaya ditti, these Pali words, sakaya means actually sa, that, no, sa, the existing, kaya, the group, so existing group. And ditti means wrong view. So the wrong view about the existing groups. Then what does existing groups here means? Existing groups actually means the 5 groups and 5 aggregates. So vijnana, which is chitta and cetasika divided into the 3, and we have rupa, no? So the 5 groups. So taking the 5 aggregates to be a self or to be the atta is called sakaya ditti. So in a way, also this is what is the atta wadu upadana. No? So taking this sakaya, but then this sakaya ditti, everybody before one attained the first stage of enlightenment, we all have this sakaya ditti. We all still believe that this nama and rupa is I. Yeah? But then when it becomes upadana, then it is very strongly holding on to the idea of an atta or of a self. Now, we understand that the 5 aggregates, vijnana, vedana, sanya, sankhara, and rupa, are the 5 aggregates, no? So how does sakaya ditti or wrong view, how does it, how does one have the wrong view about these 5 groups, no? These 5 groups meaning the 5 aggregates, no? The existing kaya, sakaya ditti, no? So wrong view about the existing kaya, these 5 aggregates, and how do we do that? By Now, by taking the 5 aggregates, each in four wrong ways, do we take this Vijnana, or this Vedana, or this Sanya, or this Sankara, or this Rupa. When we take these 5 aggregates to be a self, then there must be some way how we think they are a self, no? So now coming in the next slide, we are going to look at how people throughout since the time of the Buddha take these 5 aggregates wrongly, take it as a self. Now, the first kind of wrong view, let's take Rupa as an example. Later, we can apply to all the other different aggregates, right? Now, the first kind of wrong view, with the Rupa as example, the first one, it takes Rupa as Atta or a self. So Rupa equals to a self, or Rupa equals to Atta, which means Rupa is something permanent or something that has a real substance. So this is the first kind of wrong view. Then the first kind of wrong view, the example being given in the text is like taking the flame and the color of the flame, this yellowish orange, the color, taking both things to be the same thing. So the flame and the color is the same thing. So in the same way, one take Rupa and Atta to be the same thing, because they are together, no? Like this, the flame, the color, and the flame itself. So this is the first kind of wrong view, how we take Rupa as a self. Now, how about the second one? Now, the second one, it does not take Rupa and Atta to be the same thing. It thinks the second idea, second wrong view, is like Rupa is something else and Atta is something else. They are different. So Rupa is one thing, Atta is another thing. So, but it takes Atta has Rupa. So Rupa is the belonging of Atta, or the possession of Atta. And if the example given in the text, after looking at this, then it will be clear. The example is like, there's a tree and it has a shadow, right? So taking Atta to be the tree and the Rupa to be the shadow is like taking Atta, taking Rupa to be the possession of Atta. So Atta has Rupa. So the Rupa is the shadow or is the possession of Atta. So what is real, what is really there is like kind of the Atta is the main thing. And because there is Atta, then there is the shadow, then there is the Rupa, like something like that. So this idea, take Atta has Rupa. So just as Rupa is the shadow and is the property of the tree, so Rupa is the property of Atta. So this is the second kind of wrong view. Now, the third kind of wrong view, again, it takes Rupa and Atta to be something different. But now, this time, this kind of wrong view thinks that Rupa is inside Atta, is in Atta. So Atta is the container and Rupa is inside the container. So let's say that, we have this container, the container is Atta and Rupa is inside the container. So this is the third kind of wrong view. There is another example being given in the text. It says, it's like there is scent in the flower. So the flower is the Atta and the smell is the Rupa. So it takes Rupa is inside the Atta. So Atta is bigger and then it holds Rupa is inside the Atta. So Atta is or the soul is the flower and the flower have smell, no? So the smell is kind of Rupa. So it takes it in this way. And then the next one, the fourth kind of wrong view, again, it takes Rupa and Atta to be something different, but this time it thinks that Atta is inside Rupa. So it's like a treasure box. Rupa is the box and Atta is something inside Rupa, like in a jewelry box or treasure box, right? So this is the 4 types of wrong view, how we take, in this example, Rupa to be a self, or to be different of the self, but how it is related to the self. No, the first one is Rupa itself is Atta. It's the same thing. Or Rupa has Atta. So Rupa is the property of Atta. Or Rupa is inside Atta. just like the smell in the flower. And the fourth is the atta is inside rupa, like a treasure box. So in the same way, we can understand also the other four aggregates: vijnana, consciousness; vedana, mental feeling; sanya, perception; and sankhara, mental formation. So thinking that consciousness itself is atta is another kind of wrong view. Or thinking consciousness or atta has consciousness. So atta is something and it possesses consciousness, or consciousness is the possession of atta, is another wrong view. Or thinking that consciousness or chitta, vijnana, is inside atta, or that atta is inside consciousness. So in the same way, that's another four kinds of wrong view. Then for Vedana is the same. In the same way, we can understand, we can apply sanya and sankhara. So these are the 20 kinds of Sakaya Ditti that is mentioned in many suttas. Actually, you can find this in the Samyutta Nikaya 22.155 Sakaya Ditti Sutta, and Majjhima Nikaya 44 Chula Vedala Sutta, and the shorter sets of the questions and answer. So you can find these 20 kinds of Sakaya Ditti, how one take the 5 aggregates to be a self. So now we have seen that because we are looking at Upadana, right? Clinging and grasping. So once we take this wrong idea about these 5 aggregates to be a self, then and then we strongly hold on to this idea, then that is called Atta Vadu Upadana. So holding the very strong grasping of the opinion of a self. Yes, Edith?
Can you give me examples on the middle two and the third? For me, these are I could never understand them.
So different people have different ideas, and it's good you don't understand and you don't think this way, because so that means you don't have this kind of wrong view. And sometimes we cannot understand, because people can think in so many different ways. Sometimes we may think that this way of thinking is strange for us, but some other people might think how we think is strange for them, right? So, but anyway, all these 20 kinds of idea are wrong. So no need to try to understand how they are or what they are, because they are actually not wrong, right? So what we need to understand is the right view. Right view is there is only nama and rupa. Nama has its own process, rupa has its own process, and everything is because of cause and effect. It has its own condition. That's why it arises, and then it has its effect. When there are causes, there's always effect. So that's there is no self, no I, or soul, or self that we call something as substance that exists there. No, so sometimes we think that there is like a central director inside us. No, like even in the brain, sometimes science, sometimes even the science explain that in the brain there is no one place that dictate everything, right? So it's different parts doing jobs, different jobs, and collaborating together. Yeah. So in the same way, it's just the 5 aggregates, they doing their own job. And then it makes the delusion. We have this because of ignorance also, right? We have this delusion that this is I, this is me. No? But that's actually, those are all the wrong views, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, so Delawa, please.
I mean, you basically just talked about it, because we are basically talking about something that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as a practitioner, you can not really grasp at this idea. You really spend time. And yeah, I just wanted to say that it might be one of the only topics that can be harder to understand for someone who's studying and practicing, as for someone who is still believing in these things and having wrong views. So for me, it's pretty hard to study this topic, even though
Now, the main point here is not to understand them, but to understand that how it is possible that in so many ways we can take these 5 aggregates to be a self. So maybe 1 or 2 we can kind of relate. We can kind of maybe understand, like Edith said, but maybe not all of them, right? So, but anyway, so these are the different kinds of ideas that people can have about the self. With this, we have seen the 4 Upadana, the clinging or grasping. So let's just have a recap of what are they, the 4 types. The first, the clinging to sensual desire, Kamupadana. Then we have clinging to wrong view, Ditupadana. Then we have clinging to the wrong practice, Silabatupadana. Then we have the clinging to the opinion of a self, Attavodupadana. So these 4 types are called clinging or grasping, or very firmly, or literally, very firmly taking this object, like holding on to with attachment. Now, let's take a look of the ultimate reality of these 4 types of clinging. Now, very obviously, clinging to sense desire is what? Ultimate reality.
Lobha.
Lobha, yes, right. In Cetasika, it's lobha, yeah? Then how about wrong view, wrong practice, and the opinion of Atta?
Ditti.
That will be DT, yeah? Yes, thank you. So in this case, although there are 4 types of different clinging, but there are only 2 ultimate reality. So sense desire is lobha, and the other 3 are DT. So lobha and DT. Now remember that wrong view and lobha, wrong view is always in the lobha group, right? Because we attach to the idea, we hold on to the idea. So with grasping is a clinging and like that. So here in this group, holding on to things, there's upadana, is only the lobha group. No? So lobha and DT is the ultimate reality of the 4 upadana, like the strong holding or grasping onto what we think is right, or onto sense desire, etc. No? Okay, so with this, we have finished another category, which is the Upadana. Now let's go to another category. That's Nivarana, hindrances, Nivarana. This word, or maybe we are also very familiar with this word. It comes up a lot in the meditation practice, the Nivaranas, translated as hindrances. And most of the time, we understand these hindrances to be the obstacle, like on the way towards the jhana, towards jhana practice. So there are obstacles, no? So these nivaranas, the hindrances, we understand it to be the obstacle to jhana. But not only that, here it is also explained that it is also the obstacle to rebirth in the heavenly realms. So like very better existence, no? It's also an obstacle to that. And as well as an obstacle to nibbana, or hindrance towards nibbana. Now, this word nivaranas, sometimes in the commentaries, it is explained as, explained the word nivarana to be like enveloping or overwhelming as well. This is just extra information for you. So these hindrances, as we are very familiar with them, we know 5 of them, right? So sense desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worried, and doubt. Yeah. So these 5 hindrances, when we studied jhana, we have already gone through them. We understand that with this, without subduing or controlling these 5 hindrances, then it is not possible to attain concentration and hence jhana, right? So we know sense desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worried, and doubt. But now in this category, in the Abhidhamma, one more nivarana, one more thing is included in this category, and that is ignorance itself, avijja, ignorance. Ignorance is also a hindrance. Now let's take a look of the different types. When we talk about sense desire and ill will, then we know like what is sense desire. We are very familiar with it. We don't have to explain it again. But now ill will is, in ultimate reality, is dosa, right? So again, from the very subtle to the very gross dosa, all of them are included in these hindrances. Now, how about tina mida? Tina, mida, sloth and torpor, they are actually, although they are taken as one hindrance, but they are actually 2 cetasikas, right? Tina and mida. They are 2 things, 2 different separate ultimate reality, tina and mida. But they are put together here as one hindrance because their function, conditioned, and their antidote are very similar. Therefore, they are taken to be one mental hindrance, although in fact they are two cetasikas, two ultimate reality, right? So let's take a look. What is the function, condition, and antidote of Tinamida? Now, the function of Tinamida is to produce mental sluggishness. Sluggishness. Sorry, sluggishness. So Tina and Mida, both of them, they produce like this drowsiness and this kind of cloudy mental state. And then the conditioned, what is the condition for Tina and Mida? And it is caused by laziness and drowsiness, both of them. And how about the antidote to it? So antidote is the arousing of energy, which is viriya, right? So long as we have viriya, and then there will be no Tinamida. But once we let go of the viriya of energy, then Tinamida may come in. So in this way, because of the function, condition, and antidote are similar, then it is taken to be one hindrance, although it's two cetasika. Well, in the same way, we can understand for udacha and kukucha, restlessness and worried, also they are two different cetasika, but again, their function, condition, and antidote are very similar, so therefore they are taken together here. Now let's take a look. The function of udacha and kukucha are both to produce disquietude in the mind. When there is worried or when there is restlessness, the mind is not calm, is not quiet, is very busy. No? And what is the condition of it? And it is caused by disturbing thoughts. So a lot of thinking about this, worried about this, or restless thinking. No? A lot of disturbing thoughts. How about the antidote? The antidote to it is actually the practice of samatha. So the samatha meditation calms the mind. It makes the mind quiet. So in this way, the function, condition, and antidote of both restlessness and worry are very similar. So therefore, it is taken to be one hindrance here, a set like set. Okay. All right. So how about doubt? What is doubt? Vichikicha. Now, doubt is the feeling of kind of indecision, puzzled, hesitation, uncertain, wavering, and it is why is there doubt? When there is doubt, there is all this kind of feeling, and because of its inability to comprehend, because we don't understand, then we have doubt. Let's take a look at this word vichikicha because it's in Pali is very interesting. I think we have talked about this before when we talk about jhana, but as a revision, we can take a look. Vichikicha, vichi means investigation, and kicha means perplexity. So it is vexation due to perplexed thinking. That is the Pali meaning, the word of the meaning of the Pali word vichikicha. So vexation due to perplexed thinking. So a lot of investigation, thinking about this, a lot of things. And there is another meaning of vichikicha. We can take it, cut the Pali word into in a different way. First, we is without, and chikicha means curing or remedy or medicine. So that means devoid of the remedy of knowledge. Because we don't understand, so there is no remedy, there is no medicine for it because of not understanding, right? So when there is doubt, then we cannot decide what is right, what is wrong, what is wholesome, what is not wholesome. And when there is doubt, there can be no correct understanding, although we cannot have right knowledge at that moment. So this vichikicha, especially, it is about the Dhamma. It's about reality, about the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and doubt about the practice, doubt about the Four Noble Truth, about the dependent origination, and so on. All these more important things are called doubt here, not the doubt of whether I should take strawberry ice cream or chocolate ice cream, right? Not that kind of doubt, like thinking or which way to go. Should I go left? Should I go right? Or like not that those kind of doubt here. All right. So that's vichikicha. Now we understand that when there is ignorance, then is, of course, it is an hindrance, but this hindrance is more for Nibbana. Now, let's take a look into details first. So imagine when we are meditating, when we are practicing, and when we have slot and topper, or when we are thinking, agitated about our work, I have to do this, I have to do that, or we remember something, we get angry with the situation that happened, or we think that, no, I can't do this, it is not possible. Or if we think of a lot of sense desire, I want this and I want that. So do you think it's possible to meditate or to attain jhana when there are these kind of thoughts? Quite impossible, right? So therefore, for samatha meditation, especially if we want to attain jhana, then these 5 obstacles are called, they are called the major obstacles for the rising of jhana. When a person cannot get free from these 5 mental hindrances, then there is no hope for getting concentration of mind and hence jhana. No? Now, although it is not necessarily for jhana, it's not necessarily to totally abandon these 5 hindrances, but the temporary abandonment, even it is not cutting from the root, but the temporary abandonment of these 5 hindrances is conditioned. It's a must, no, for the attainment of jhana. So, but for vipassana meditation, also not just only for jhana, these 5 hindrances must also be subdued. Otherwise, we cannot get a momentary concentration. So for jhana, we need very, very strong concentration. But for vipassana, we also need very strong concentration, actually, to understand reality as it is, to penetrate through reality. And we must have very strong concentration. Although that kind of concentration it has a different name. It is a little bit different from the jhana concentration, but it is as strong as that. So these 5 hindrances are also hindrances or obstacles for vipassana meditation. So therefore, they are called the hindrances group, and they must be keep at bay, right, during meditation. Okay, now how about ignorance? Ignorance is actually called the major hindrances to the arising of knowledge or wisdom. Because what does ignorance do? It clouds the mind. It does not let us see reality as it is. So therefore, without looking at things clearly, the knowledge and wisdom cannot arise. So therefore, this avijja is called the major hindrance to the arising of knowledge or wisdom, and hence hindrances to nibbana. Okay, so the first 5, sense desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt are the major hindrances to the arising of jhana, as well as for a concentration for vipassana practice. And ignorance is the major hindrances to the arising of wisdom. Therefore, in this category, Nivarana, in this Abhidhamma study, avijja, ignorance, is also included into the obstacles or hindrances. Okay, let's take a look at the ultimate reality of these 6, or actually more. How about sense desire? What is it?
Lobha.
Lobha, right. Thank you. Ill will?
Dosa.
Dosa. Sloth and torpor?
Dinamita.
Tina and Mida, 2, right? 2 different cetasikas. Restlessness and worry?
Uddhacca.
Uddhacca and kukucca, right. Doubt?
Vicikicca.
Right. Ignorance in ultimate reality? Moha, right, exactly.
Moha.
So, right, thank you so much. So with this, we see that we have, excuse me. Okay. Okay, so with this, we see that although we have only these 6 hindrances, but actually we have 8 cetasikas in ultimate reality. Because Tina and Mida, Uddhacca and Kukucca, they are grouped as 1 hindrance, right? So although only 6 hindrances, there are 8 ultimate reality in this group. All right, so with this, we have finished also this category of hindrances, Nivarana. Let's go to Anusaya. So Anusaya means the latent, is translated as the latent disposition or tendency, latent tendency. So here I put it like a match, the graphically, because it is not actually the fire that is burning at the moment, but is the potential of fire, right? So we have, we want, as long as the defilements are not totally uprooted, then they still stay as a latent disposition. They still have possibility to arise. So that's like in the matches, although there is no fire at the moment, but if we haven't get rid of everything of the defilements itself, so there are still the potential of fire of happening, right? So this Anusaya is this level. Now, previously, we have seen that there are three levels of defilement, right? The first one, we have the acted out level, then we have the arising only in the mind level and latent level, no? So let's take a look in the bigger graphic. The first type, which is the more gross type of defilements, is called the witty karma, the ones that is acted out. So like kind of when we are actually performing physical action or verbal action of like saying some harsh words or killing some insects or whatever. So when we perform this, the defilements are actually act out, and that's the grosser form. That's called the witty karma. And sometimes we only think about something in the mind, but we don't actually do it. Yeah, say we are angry and then we say something bad in our mind to the other person, but we don't actually say it out. Yeah, but actually defilements already arose in the mind. So that's pariyutthana. Those are defilements arising only in the mind, a little bit more subtle than we didn't act out, but it arose in the mind, right? Now, then the more subtle level is the Anusaya, which we are talking about it here. That's called the latent. Yeah, latent. So they are lying dormant in the mind, waiting for a chance to come up. When there are suitable conditions, and when we do not have yoniso manasikara, wise attention, when we are not paying attention, then these defilements, that anytime it can arise, it can have chance to arise, right? So those are called the Anusaya, the latent defilements. For example, Lobha Anusaya. If Lobha is not totally uprooted, then there is still, Lobha can still have possibility to arise in our mind, yeah? So those lobha is called lobha anusaya, no? They are not happening in the present moment. It's not happening in our mind, and we are not acting with lobha at the moment, but there are still potential for it to arise. So therefore, they are called the anusaya, or the latent tendency here. Okay, so let's see which ones are the anusayas. What kind of things have the possibility to arise in the mind, yeah? So let's take a look. Again, kamaraga nusaya, sense desire. Whenever there are possibilities, and since we still have lobha for sense desire, then it is possible that it can arise. Then we have bhavaraga anusaya, so the latent tendency for attachment to the different types of existence, to life. Then we have patiga anusaya, the latent tendency for ill will or dosa to arise. Then we have mana anusaya, the latent tendency for pride to arise. Ditta anusaya, then we have the latent tendency for wrong view. And vicikicca anusaya for doubt, as well as avijja anusaya for latent tendency for moha, no, for this ignorance to arise. Now, this actually, there are not only these 7 of them, but every kilesa is latent. Every kilesa is possible to arise. No? Whenever there is chance, everything is possible. But only these 7 are called anusaya here because they are most prominent and strong. Therefore, they are grouped as they are called the anusayas in this group. But we have to understand then, although it is not mentioned here, but all other akusala, all of them have possibilities. No? So they are all called anusaya in a way. But when we mentioned anusaya, then we have these 7 of them. Now, in ultimate reality, we understand that the sense desire and attachment to existence, in ultimate reality, it's lobha, and then patiga, dosa, and mana, pride is mana, wrong view, ditti. Now we have doubt, vichikicha, and ignorance, moha itself, yeah? So this 7 here, it's grouped together to be called the latent disposition or tendency. Now you may find in the Dhammapada, it is said that just as a tree with roots undamaged and firm grows again even though cut down, so also if latent craving is not rooted out, this dukkha of birth, aging, and death arises again and again. So that is verse 338 in the Dhammapada. So in this way, just like the tree, if we cut it and cut it, we try to cut it down and cut it down and cut it down, it's only on the surface, right? So if we don't uproot the anusaya, the latent defilements, the latent craving here, then dukkha, meaning the cycle of samsara, the birth, aging, and death again and again and again and again, it will still continue. So this anusaya, this latent defilement can only be uprooted by magga, by magga. Actually, the everything it's until arahata magga, no. So we still have to continue to be working and working and have enough conditions for wisdom to arise and to understanding of the how things really are, reality as it is. Then we understand that there is nothing to be attached to, and so we can be free from craving by that time. And so this samsara will come to an end eventually, no? And that's the goal for the practice, right? Okay, so now we have finished also with Anusaya, the latent disposition or tendency. Now let's take a break for 5 minutes, and then we will continue with the other 2 groups, Saṁyojana and Kilesa. Welcome back, everyone. All right. I think today we can finish with all the unwholesome group. Then the next week we can go to another category. Okay, so let's see. Saṁyojana, it's translated as fetter or rope. So it's something that tied us or bind us to the round of rebirth. Something that holds us, chained us. Fetter or rope. Okay, so now in the suttas, when you find this word Saṁyojana, then you will find that there are kamaraga, it's one of the Saṁyojana, fetter or rope, and we have bhavaraga, then we have aruparaga, patiga, mana, pride, ditti, wrong view, silabhata paramasa, the wrong practice, attachment to wrong practice, vichikicha, and avijja. So these ones you will find when we read suttas, and then many times the Saṁyojana are explained in to these few types. So kamaraga, bhavaraga, arupa. So this attachment to sense desire, attachment to the existence of the 5 material existence, attachment to the non-material existence. Then we have patika, it will, mana, pride, wrong view, silabhata paramasa, the wrong practice, then vichikicha, and avijja, right? So we have these ones. But now in Abhidhamma, in terms of Abhidhamma, there is a little bit difference in this category. In this chapter, chapter 7, the classification here, the arupa raga is included in the bhava raga. So when we say this in this Saṁyojana, in Abhidhamma terms, arupa, this existence, attachment to the non-material existence is included into the craving or attachment to existence itself. Then Patiga, Mana, Ditti is the same, but there are two more here. Issa and Machiriya are also included in the Saṁyojana in terms of Abhidhamma. So altogether, 10 of them. Kamaraga, Bhavaraga, Patiga, Mana, Ditti, Issa, Machiriya, Siddhabhata Paramasa, Vicikicca, and Avijja. So 10 of them are called the Dasa Saṁyojana, no? So 10 fetters. Now, for Amar, you see, Kukucha is not here, the Saṁyojana. The worried,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think in 10 Saṁyojana, there was a Satkaya Ditti also, right?
There are
in
what?
10 Saṁyojana. Yeah, Satkaya Ditti. Satkaya Ditti. There are 10
Sakaya
Saṁyojana, right?
Ditti.
Satkaya
Sakaya Ditti is
Siddhavata
included
Paramasa.
in Ditti, but here, yes, it's included in Ditti.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, but Kukucha is not included here.
But also, Udatsa is there, right, in 10 Saṁyojana?
Udacha is not included in Saṁyojana, but we can understand that Udacha, restlessness, accompany all kinds of akusala. So it is together with this, but it is not called a Saṁyojana.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the 10 kinds of Saṁyojana mentioned in the Abhidhamma. Now let's take a look at another verse in the Dhammapada. It says, people beset with craving are terrified like a hare caught in a snare. Held fast by fetters and bonds, they undergo dukkha, a round of rebirths, again and again for a long time. So in the Dhammapada, verse 342, we find this verse. Now in the Pali, it says, Tasinaya purakata paja parisapanti sasova bandito Saṁyojana sangha sataka. So this Saṁyojana is held fast by this fetter and bonds. Dukkham upenti Puna punam chiraya. For a long, long time, one undergo this dukkha again and again for a long time, chiraya. Again and again, puna punam. So this word fetter, you'll find this Saṁyojana is in this Dhammapada verse. But on the contrary, it is also said that a bhikkhu who takes delight in mindfulness and sees danger in negligence, advance like fire, burning up all fetters, great and small. You find this verse again in the Dhammapada, verse number 31. So here again, Saṁyojana, this word come up, but a bhikkhu who takes delight in mindfulness and see the danger in negligence, and advance so fast like a fire, burning up all the fetters, great and small. In Pali, it said, apamadarato bhikkhu pamade bayadasi wa Saṁyojanam annum tulam daham agiva gacchati. Saṁyojanam. This Saṁyojana is the fetter, the one that we saw, no? Daham comes from the word dahati, to burn, to consume. So we the bhikkhu who is with apamada, not forgetting, he delights in mindfulness and see the danger, and so he advances very quickly, burning up all the fetters, great and small. And so you see all these words that we have been studying in this group, then you will find in the Dhammapada, in the suttas, and in many other places. But then now we understand when we see this word, what does that mean by that Saṁyojana or by that fetters? Burning up what? What do we need to burn up in order to be free? That's sense desire, attachment to existence, ill will, pride, wrong view, Issa and Machiriya, so jealousy and stinginess, Siddhabhata Paramasa, the attachment to wrong practice, Vicikicca, or wrong understanding of practice, Vicikicca, doubt, and Moha, Avijja. So these are the things that needs to be burned down, or the Saṁyojana that should be burned down. And of course, all kinds of defilements, no? But here, when we see this word Saṁyojana, we understand what it means. So just for curiosity, if we type the word Saṁyojana in the Pali reader, you find 233 results of this word actually. So a lot. It comes up a lot in the Sutta. In the Sutta Pitaka, in the Majjhima Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, and so in different vagas, in different suttas, it comes up a lot of the Saṁyojana. So for reading the suttas, then these are very helpful. Later on, we will know that when we see this word Saṁyojana, what it actually means, right? Okay. So up to here, and then we have almost finished with all the unwholesome group. Then we come to the last group, which is another word that we always hear a lot, the kilesas, defilements, right? Now, defilements are called defilements because they defile the mind. They make the mind dirty, and they torment the mind as well. So therefore, they are called defilements. And what are they? Well, we are very familiar with the three of them usually. And the three groups we always said, Lobha, Dosa, and Moha, the three main ones. But also defilements are not only these three, of course. And some other ones are also included. Here we have mana again, pride, ditthi, wrong view, vicikicca, doubt, tina, and then uddhacca, restlessness, ahirika, and anotapa are also included. So all of this, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these 10 of them are called kilesas here. So lobha, dosa, moha, mana, ditthi, vicikicca, tina, uddhacca, ahirika, and anotapa are called kilesas, different kinds of kilesas. So why is it divided in this group again? Because the Buddha explained it to different people. So maybe different people at that moment need different things. So these things are this kind of defilements. The Buddha explained that harms the mind in which way and so on. So these 10 are grouped to be called defilements. Okay, so again with this word, if we look at it, it comes out even more. 1,757 results that you will find this word kilesa in the text. So in the Vinaya also, in the Sutta also, Kudaka Nikaya, a lot. So it comes out a lot, this kilesa, this word. Okay, so now we have now we understand that akusala, when we study Cetasika, we know that there are 14 different akusala Cetasikas, right? So we have the 4 universal, and we have moha, ahirika, anotapa, the ignorance, and we have the moral fearlessness and the moral shamelessness, and then we have restlessness. These 4 are universal. Whenever any kind of akusala arise in the mind, these 4 always accompany together. They must always be there. Then we have the lobha group. The lobha group includes lobha itself and mana, and then ditthi, yeah? And mana and ditthi, they never arise together because their objects are different. So lobha can arise alone, or it can arise alone with lobha and ditthi, or it can arise with lobha and mana, pride, right? And of course, with the universal. Then we have the dosa group. The dosa group is dosa itself. Then we have isa and machariya, the jealousy, and we have the stinginess, and we have worried also, right? Then we have the other group, which is the other last 3, tinamida and vicikicca, doubt. Yeah. So these 14 cetasikas are, these 14 akusala cetasikas are stated and arranged into different groups in these 9 unwholesome categories that we have just, sorry. Excuse me. Yes, so these 14 akusala cetasikas, they are stated and arranged into the different groups of the 9 unwholesome categories that we have just looked at in these 2 weeks. So you see that many of them actually repeats, right? They repeat. They are also in this group. They are also in another group, right? Like that. So here we have sinned, the cankas, the asawas, and the ogas, the flood. And we have seen they are described as bond or yoke, as not as Upadana, clinging or craving, clinging or grasping, hindrances, Anusayas, latent tendency, fetters or roots or defilements. So they are arranged into these different categories. But they are all actually only talking about these 14 types of akusala cetasika, no? Okay, so let's take a look in this like graph way, so we can understand. So there are altogether 9 categories that we have looked at. We have canker, flood, bond, knot, clinging, hindrance, latent tendency, fetter, and defilement, right? And for the 14 akusalas that we have on this side, the 14 akusalas. And so with this one, we can see that they are grouped into, I mean, which ones are they included? So lobha, very strong, right? They are it's in everything. So it contains like everything all contains lobha, always there. Canker also, flood, bond, knot, clinging, hindrances, latent defilement, fetter, and defilements also. All of them are included. Then ditthi, almost all, but it's not included in the hindrance group. How about moha? Moha also, it's not included in knot and not included in clinging here. But of course, we understand that when every other thing arises, moha also there, no? Then we can understand. But as a grouping, it's not included here. And for dosa, and then we have here the knot and hindrances, latent defilements, fetter, and defilements itself, vichikicha, mana, and so on. Now, you see here, defilements. Although we say that defilements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, is 10, no? But actually we say that everything is defilement, right? Everything. So why is it not included here? That's because, let's say, tina and mida here, then tina and mida, they always arise together. So mida is kind of included in the tina group here, in the defilements group. Then how about kukucha, and isa and macharya? So these 3, it says that they are not defilements, no? Like it is not included. But we should understand that kukucha, isa, and macharya, kukucha meaning worried, isa, jealousy, and macharya, stinginess, they are actually included in the dosa group. So in this way, we should understand that defilements are actually, all of them are defilements. We should understand. Then, although these ones are not mentioned, then we need to understand that it's included in the dosa group, mida also included in tina group. So everything, all of the 14 types of akusala cetasika, they are all defilements, although 10 are mentioned only. Okay, so again, why are they divided into these different categories, different groups? That's because throughout the 45 years, the Buddha preached to so many different peoples in so many different situations. So depending on what the person needs, then the person gives the right remedy for the person, no? So if someone have headache, then the Buddha will not give some medicine for his stomach, right? So it's so depending on the person. So sutta is always like that. Sutta, as my teacher said, is like remedies or prescription, so especially for that person, no? But Abhidhamma is like the medical study, so we need to understand in details everything, how it works. So the Buddha explained in general everything, like for everyone, how it works, how mind works, how the chitta, cetasika, rupa, how all the mental processes, how it works in general for everyone. So it doesn't matter who we are talking to, but it works that way. Therefore, with this basic understanding of the Abhidhamma, then when we study sutta, then sometimes we may say that why this sutta said only like it only named like 3 factors. But in another sutta, they're talking about the same thing. The Buddha now mentioned 5 or 6. Then in another sutta, or now 12. And in another sutta, only 1. No, but we have to understand, because the Buddha is talking specifically to a specific person. So whatever the person needs, the Buddha mentioned. But in ultimate reality, we need to understand that what is meant by the Buddha when he says these words. Okay, so with this, until here, we have finished the unwholesome category. And so now when we read suttas, if we find these words, sometimes we may forget, but we can always go back to the book, and then we find the table, and it's very handy, you know. So we'll see that this one, this one, then it will help our understanding. All right, so we still have time, but I think it's good we stop here, and then we don't start a new category for today. And so if you have some questions, then we can discuss a little bit. Otherwise, we can also finish earlier.
Just a quick question about Tina Mida. So I know Tina is sloth and Mida is torpor, but then I translated it to Ukrainian, and it said that Mida is like, it's kind of like you cannot move. I was wondering what Mida is again, if you could explain one more time.
Yes, Tina and Mida, they always arise together. So when we study the Cetasika, then in the text, it is described as that Tina is like the sickness or the drowsiness of Chitta, and Mida is of the Cetasikas. So basically, they're like the two things, no, like they are drowsy. So the sickness of the Chitta and the sickness of the Cetasikas. Like they are, it is explained this way, but we can understand when there is drowsiness, then both of them are there.
Okay, so it's like in Ukrainian, it just says like when you're frozen kind of thing, like you can't, maybe not with fear, but just kind of cannot do anything. You're just, I don't know, like a stone or some sort. I'm not sure. So I was
It's more
just
like laziness, or like sluggish, and then like not wanting to move, or without motivation, and something like that.
Got it. Thank you so
Sleepy or
much.
something, right? But yes, but sometimes my teacher also said that not all sleepiness are Tina Mida, no? Sometimes when the body is tired, then we need to rest. So at that time, that's not because of defilements. That's because we need to rest. So then that is not defilement. That is not Tina Mida, just because we are tired. And we have to separate. Sometimes we understand that, I don't want to do this because I'm lazy. No, that's Tina Mida. But sometimes when we are tired, then it's not.
And then there's moha thinking, yeah, I just need to sleep.
Yeah. And Loba liking the bed very much, very soft and everything, no?
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
I was just thinking to ask this question, like, would the Sotapanna, I mean, I think they have like a drive to keep practicing, and just, I mean, they don't get lazy, right?
Not necessarily. Because the very gross defilements are gone already. So it is most of the time, then it will be very how can I say, they will have the energy to continue and to work. But for Sotapanna, still there are the very gross defilements are gone, but let's say attachment and loba, and to sense desire are still not totally gone. So still have a lot of work to do. So maybe it is still possible that one can get a lack of energy, or it's possible.
So
That's Tina Mida also is not gone.
So let me rephrase the question. I mean, I think it's impossible for a Sotapanna to stop practicing, basically.
It won't stop, because once you enter the stream, then it must always go to the sea. No, it will arrive. So maximum, it will take them 7 lifetimes to practice in order to arrive to arahaship, but not necessarily. That's saying that the maximum. No, so some people in the lifetime, when they become a Sotapanna, then they continue practicing, and in the same lifetime they become an arahat also, even in one sitting, possible. No? So yeah, they won't stop practicing.
So the same question, would a Putujana have that as well, like that drive and that feeling of have to practice? I mean, in my mind, it's not possible to have that drive for a Putujana.
I think it's different, because for Sotapanna, their sada is true sada. Their faith is true. So they are, because they need not to be convinced, no? They saw it themselves, they know it. So their sada is a real, very strong sada. With that sada, then they will continue. But for Puthujjana, our sada, it's not strong. It can fall down anytime. Yeah. So sometimes we think, oh, yes, I want to do this. I need to practice. And then sometimes, no, I totally forget about the practice, right? So this sada is not stable. So only until we reach the Sotapatti, Magga and Phala stage, Sotapanna stage, then that sada will become really, really stable, and one will not stop. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. So if you don't have any other question, then we will close here, and let's share merits and also dedicate our merits for the attainment of Magga and Phala wisdom. Itam no punyam Magga Phala jnana pacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam Magga Phala jnana pacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam Magga Phala jnana pacheyo hotu. Itam no punyam savasatanam bhajima. Itam no punyam savasatanam bhajima. Itam no punyam savasatanam bhajima. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week
Thank you
ahead.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you.
No, after the week next week.
Yes. See you.